Hi, hello, and welcome to Rainy Day Crafting. Okay, today on our Christmas card challenge that I'm on 30 days, I think this is day 60, I think, I am going to do a poinsettia. Okay, so what I'm going to be using is my stamping platform. I've done it in various stages, so, you know, rather than sort of keep you on here forever. So I always think it's a little bit like Blue Peter. Get your cardstock. I'm using, as always, I nearly always use this, that lovely cardstock that I get from Hobbycraft that's textured. 50 cards in a pack and envelopes. Really lovely. It's really sort of thick card anyway. So these that I'm using, recently a special deal that was going on Craft Stash. Craft Stash is a really good company, lots of deals to be had. This is by Daisy Mae, as you can probably see. It's the perfect poinsettia die set. So basically you've got your stamps with, you know, your flowers, you know, your clump of flowers, your single flower, your bow, your pot, your little tag and some bits and pieces, and you've got these, which I don't know what you really call them, the cutter outers, do you know what I mean, that goes round the flowers to cut them out. It was a deal to buy them both, but I'll show you what I mean when I now do this card, because they cut out but they tend to leave a little bit of an edge round. So, you know, depending on what it is you're buying in stamps, if you're planning to fussy cut, which is just literally cut out the edge yourself, you know, because often when you buy, if you buy them sort of both as separate things and put them in your basket and things, you know, it costs a bit more to have these. Just my personal opinion, you know, they're okay, but it really depends on your design and how much detail, really. Anyway, but there's often tricks to get around the details too, if I'm honest. Anyway, so first of all, we've got to pop on this. Face it down where you want it to be on the card. I don't want it to move it once I put it there, because if it's still got some ink on it, it's going to wreck. And then that shut your stamping platform on it, because there's probably, oh no, it hasn't actually. I was expecting it to already have not an awful lot of detail on that, but that doesn't matter. So could even do a colour if you wanted to. Didn't really think about that till now, but I could have just done a sort of nice sort of terracotta colour. So what I would then do, you could literally stamp again, because what I'm going to do, yeah, let's do it all in one go. I'll take that off now, store that back on there. Now with this, I don't think it will smudge it. This will be a test if it does. So again, put it where you want it to be. Shut the door. Shut that door. Remember him? It was at Larry Grayson. And then stamp up. The beauty of a stamping pad, obviously it's not one of them things you have to have at all, but Christmas is coming, isn't it? So if you're sort of now getting into the craft and things, that's, you know, maybe I'll do a little video on the top 10 things that I think are really good. Okay, as you can see, there's marks on there, but that's hopefully not going onto my card. So, okay, so not too bad. I could actually recoat that again and stamp that again, but you'll see what I'm going to be doing with this card, it doesn't matter, because I actually just as much as anything want the outline. So now with my embossing powder, I hate the grittiness. I forget to tell people to do this, but you can put these little bags that have like cornflour type stuff, a starchy product in, that stops sort of if there's anything on your card, because obviously if there was any sort of, I don't know, fingerprints and things like that, it wouldn't allow these things to stick. But if they're sort of new cards out of a pack and things, the chances are your fingers won't have created much. Right, let's have a quick look at this. I'm not going to show you every stage. So I was awful talking when I still maintain it's still very magical when you see how this works. Right, not too bad. I think that's done enough. So now what I would do is put some other pieces of card paper in there, and I'd stamp a couple more. Okay, because you've got this one as well. Hang on. You'll see in a minute, that'll all come crystal clear when you realise, hang on, I think that's in the right place. Doesn't matter, because let's just see if they're both going to fit on. No. Maybe. Yep, that'll be okay. So basically, I should be showing you something that I did earlier in a moment too. So do some more. Don't very often do that. Fingers crossed it's okay. Yep, that's fine. So let's just put this out the way for now. I would definitely emboss these. I'm going to leave this to one side because basically what I'm going to show you in a second is some I've done earlier. So these are some that I've done earlier, but I've coloured them, and cut them out. Okay, but what I want to show you, just imagine these are the ones I've just done, okay, and stamped. Can you see how I've coloured it? Now here's what I'm using. I'm using distressed oxides, okay. So the little bit of black, which is this black soot, would just be more or less the middle, okay. Don't need much there at all, just enough to sort of do them. And then I'm using festive berries, because poinsettias are sort of quite a rich red, aren't they? Load this up. Sometimes I put sort of something else to sort of check it out how strong it is, and then you don't even have to worry about going over the edges. You know, obviously if you're colouring, painting, whatever, it really doesn't matter because you're cutting it out too. So I just then do another one there. See how quickly, and if you were, though, say you were doing watercolours with these, because you've used the embossing powder and it's then made that gorgeous sheen. Okay, well, this one looks a bit pale, but I suppose sometimes actually, you know, when the poinsettia leaves are dying, not that we want a dead flower, do we? But you can get different shades. So that's what we've done. Then, okay, so they're like that. So now you could use these to cut out, but I want to show you what I mean. This one's been cut out by the big one. I don't know how well you can see. Can you see, even though I coloured it, it misses the edge. Where something like this, if I was to now show you, hang on, where's another pair of my scissors? I have so many scissors. They're not the hardest thing to actually cut out, are they? I mean, I don't really necessarily want to, you know, you can sort of whip round here quite nicely and give an I say this is always a tip cutting out. It's easier if you move whatever you're cutting out rather than your scissors, okay? Does that make sense? You know, literally just move your paper around or card, whatever it is. But can you sort of see this? It's not the most awful thing to cut out. And I think, everyone's personal choice, I suppose, I think it gives a better finish. But there you go. So, right, let's just finish with this one. But just for the card purposes, I'll probably leave the other one because, like I say, it takes time. Obviously, as you can see, there's a bows and bow that goes on and a label. Well, I've already sort of stamped them out already, as I will show you. Let's see, because you sort of see this would be very, very white edge on here, which, you know, I think it takes away from the beautiful flower that we have. So anyway, that's probably not cut out perfectly, but saying that, if you look at that cutout compared to that with the edge, like I say, it was a deal to buy them both. I think there was a special offer on anyway when I bought them, but at the same point, I generally, if I'm looking at stamps, I'd rather have another stamp in something else than these, if I'm honest. But, you know, personal choice, obviously. So that's them. Let's put them out of the way. So now, as far as the card, remember we sort of did this It's a shame I'm going to take just a couple I wasn't going to, but I'm going to take a couple of these edges off, because although you don't have to colour really beautifully with these stamps, I just think where it's got the white edges is a bit of a shame, really. I probably should go all around here, but well, anyway, I'll show you. So that is going to go, let's just make sure I've got it in the right place. That goes there. All right. So, but before that goes on there, and that can go on, I don't know if that fit on one particular, to raise it up again. So it gives that sort of real 3D look. Now, what I've done earlier, I want to show you that same effect. There was the little tag, and just done it the same way, stamped it out, embossed it, done it with the heat gun. But when you cut it out, this is how it's cut out. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a bit of a shame. And the bow. I mean, I did the bow in a different colour, so I thought that looked quite nice on there. So again, I'm going to cut that down. Generally, we could then make the pot, couldn't we? Another colour, but I just think for this card, I don't want to put too much on it. So let's just cut this down a bit here where we see it, just by the edge, and here. And then we're going to make up the card. Oh, this colour that I used on here is one of the distressed oxides, and that was dried marigold. Okay, so but again, not the most hard thing to cut out. So I mean, I've got the cutout bits now, so I suppose I will use them, but I still think actually cutting that edge out properly, I think it's nicer. But there you go. So this is a little bit. Right. So now for making up of the card. That's going to sit there quite lovely. So I might just pop that up a little bit. So over to, oh, my little sticky bits. I don't know where they all are. Oh dear, I don't have everything so ready. But this is the little with love, which I might just keep that just by tidying that up again a little bit. Yeah, not too bad. What? It'd be very, that's a typical example where it would be very hard to cut out, wouldn't it? But so you'd have to sort of leave the bow there, really, or the lace, whatever you want to call it. But I'm still, oops, tidying it up just a little bit. Right, so we could put a different colour on there. So where we've cut this out, I want to then just raise that up a bit, but I think rather than sort of, we can put the bow straight on there. Remember though, if you raise any of these things up, it can really make it pop on the card. So let's just stick this one down. You know, I'll always say, if you can and you've got the time in between bits and pieces as you're doing them, let things settle. Obviously it's meant to fit there as if it's literally round there. You could, like I say, you could pop that up just by putting some little pads underneath. And this is going there. All right. So again, now you can see I had to go the other side, so I reused it. You will find in crafting, you can reuse bits and pieces. So I hate the idea of sort of things getting wasted, where if you can then utilize the other side, it's fine. Right, let's have a little look. Make sure this is going. By putting it on there, if you were to raise that up, that would be fine. So I would put that on there. Okay, the little pot's just white. Well, you know, you can use whatever colours you want. Now we've cut this one as well, but what I would now do with that is, if the thickness of the card paper allows me, just get a bit of foam, turn it over, and then bone it. Now this is actually out of my cake decorating, so you know you will find sometimes other things can be utilised in other ways. So can you see how now that would, I don't know which one it is, because obviously, well, let me just, yeah, on there, and it really will sort of stand up on the card. So I'm going to put some tape there. Might even just pop a little bit of my amazing sticky tape. Hang on, where are my sticky scissors? That is so tough. I've lost it. Oh, okay. So it's a case of popping that on, whichever one this is. Is it that one? It might be that one. But can you see that's raised that up beautifully? So then with the tag. Now you could have the tag so it literally hangs. You might want to put a bit more colour on there. Maybe on there. Do you know what, just before we finish this, let's just get a crayon. Maybe, because you don't want too many colours on there, do you? So maybe just a little bit of a green bow. Yeah. Like I say, these would be very hard to cut, wouldn't they? So, you know, I'm not saying don't get them, but it's just if you want to or not. Would I just maybe... It's gone harder than I thought. Just going to make that... Okay. So, with that, I would tuck it on there. Or if you wanted to, you could raise it up. So in actual fact, can you sort of see actually the bow being there? I would just pop that down flat now on here. Depends, obviously you've got to remember too, with your cards, if you're then sending them off and you know, postage and all that, sometimes building them all up to too much can make them too big for the envelopes and things like that. But as much or as, whoops, as little as you want. So let's just tuck that under there. In actual fact, the white of there. And there we have a card. But remember, if you want to, you could pop it up. So, so I'm not very tidy on my thing. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Thank you very much for joining me. Till tomorrow. Take care.